welcome to the Call Off Guard podcast. I am Patricia Bright, and today we are joined by a very special guest. This guest is someone I've known for a lot of time because she happens to be someone who I shared a womb with, and it's my sister Maureen. Now, I wanted to bring her on, one, because this is actually a pilot, and we wanted to see where this would go, but she's actually been on the journey with me, lots of journeys with me for quite a long time. And I also think she has a very interesting story as well. She had the name of grandma, but let's be honest with you, she does like to live a hot girl summer. She's actually a party girl. She's a more quiet personality, the opposite of myself, but with lots of strength and internal strength that I wish that I had. And I feel like there is some stories that she has experienced that I really feel like so many of us can relate to. And I think it's her time to actually come and have a chat and express that. I have my YouTube channel, and I feel like people have seen her, and, you know, a lot of the time they've seen her in her dressing gown and headscarf, talking about being single. And so I thought, you know what? Let's go ahead and bring her on. So we are going to welcome the lovely Maureen.
I don't even know where I'm waving to, but let's go with it.
Just wave at me, it's fine.
Hey.
Let's keep it moving.
Hey.
Maureen, my
Hi.
sister, my womb friend. No,
Well, not at the same time, but yes.
Yes, we are sisters, and I've decided that Maureen is a great person to bring on here because, I mean, you can share a bit about yourself. Let's get a bit about you and your background. Let me not talk too much.
Let's do intros. So I'm sure some of you already know me from being on Patricia's YouTube channel, etc., but not everyone knows me. So I guess this is kind of a nice opportunity to kind of share my story. Patricia's younger sister. A lot of people kind of speculate that I might be the older one, but no, I'm not. I'm slightly more mature, but I'm the younger one. We're super close. We have always been, and it's lovely because now we actually work together.
And we've been working together for the last 4 to 5 years. And it can be hard working with your siblings and a family member can be kind of difficult, but we've made it work, and you're still here.
Yeah, we're still here. We're still on the journey.
Just about.
What? We're still on the journey. The journey continues, and there's so much more in store. But kind of aside from work and all of that stuff and career, I'm excited to share some of my personal life.
Yeah, I really
today.
want us to get into some of Maureen's dating experiences. And
Get
obviously,
ready, guys.
my situation is that, you know, I got married really early. I got locked down. I didn't really get out and about in these streets, as not that you were in the streets.
Easy now.
I didn't necessarily get out and about. And I feel like, you know, there's so many girls who can relate to being from London, being single, being in that online dating space, and then wanting to, you know, actually maybe be in a relationship and then having their time wasted. But also because you are so driven, you're a career woman as well, we should explore that further. But I would like us to start off with an ice shaker.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you some questions that, I mean, just a few questions, just to like break the ice a little bit.
I'm kind of scared, but we're
going to go straight into it. Now, tell me about your last Tinder date.
Well, not Tinder. I don't do Tinder, but I am on Bumble currently. It was actually really nice.
Oh.
It was actually really nice. We don't talk anymore. And that's the nature of the beast, I'm not going to lie. You can meet who you might think is the love of your life on Tuesday, and 2 weeks later... Sorry, what was his name? Remind me again. But yes, the last one was nice. The reason we're not talking anymore is because I realized that our visions for the future don't align. And it's very important for me now to spot the signs early and know when it's a no.
Have you been living the hot girl summer, or has it been a dressing gown winter?
Wow. There's two extremes. I think it depends on what your definition of hot girl summer is. So for me, that's living your best life and living it unapologetically. And if we go by that definition, then absolutely. But not just for summer, that's for life.
We are coming to the end of the year. Now, do you feel like you made 2019 work, or was it an epic failure?
No, 2019 was that year. And we're in August, and it's already been that year. I walked into this year knowing exactly what I wanted to achieve. I made my visions, my goals very plain, very clear. And I'm not going to lie, it's been tick after tick after tick after tick. But that was because I was very intentional and very purposeful about what I wanted to get out of this year. Mm-hmm. And everything, everyone, every destination, every invitation that didn't align to that was a no.
And I think I want to just expand on that, because I think we had a really bad year. 2018 was a bad year.
Terrible.
From breakups to breakdowns. 18 was such a year that we were like, no, this year has to be a good one. You've recently purchased a property. You're on the ladder.
I am. I'm a first-time buyer. I'm super excited about it. It's a new chapter and something that actually I think could have, should have, would have happened earlier had I been in the right mental space. And I'm such a firm believer that how you think is who you are and what you kind of receive into your life at any given stage. But if you're not mentally open to those experiences, they won't happen for you, no matter how much you say you think that you want it. So yeah, it's been a good year. It's been a really good year.
I feel like we should expand on that. So what I really want to do is explore how upbringing kind of helps people get to where they get to, and what are those pivotal moments. And I feel like you've just talked about mindset. I want to expand on that a little bit more. What do you think your mindset has been in the past? And that you've changed this time? Because I've really seen from you like exponential action in literally the space of a year, because you had to. But I think there were so many things that were kind of going wrong and failing and not happening. She's been at mum's house for quite a while. Let's be really honest with you. Maureen is a go with the flow. I'm usually fighting for life. And I feel like for some reason this year has been your year of fight. And then all of a sudden, like, a lot has happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really easy to get caught up in going with emotions and kind of letting life happen to you, as opposed to being in the driver's seat of your own destiny. You can live and you can just go with the flow, as you say, or you can be the architect of everything that kind of happens. And I think that this year was my eureka moment, if you will. It kind of stemmed from, Patricia kind of talked about it before, but I had one of the worst years of my entire life
Let's
last
go into
year.
it, okay? There are girls who have these situations. Let's talk about the fact that you were single.
You know what? I don't want to be that girl who kind of flies the flag and says being single is the worst thing ever. It's not. And it's not a death sentence. And it's never going to happen for you. Being single is amazing. Being single is the opportunity where you get to really work out who you are, and what it is that you bring to the table as one part of a two-part story eventually.
I wanted to say that as someone who was locked down so much, was not locked down like physically, but obviously I got into a relationship quite early. There is a lot of elements of freedom and self-exploration that I find that you've done that I don't feel like I necessarily did. There's almost like this personal strength and growth you have as well. So
definitely.
yeah,
I mean,
definitely not a death sentence.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Like, I love my own company, and that's something that I have definitely learnt and has evolved over the years. Like, I love to solo travel. I can very happily dine by myself in a fancy restaurant in Nando's. I don't care. And I've just like fallen in love with myself, and I think that's so important.
I love that you do solo trips as well.
Oh, I do. I love it. If you can't love yourself, then how can you expect somebody else to? If you don't know what you need to make yourself happy, you can't put that responsibility in someone else's hands. Last year was a mess. I was in a relationship with my now ex-partner. Lots of things happened which were kind of outside of anyone's control. I had a bigger picture of what I wanted. and I let that overshadow some of the red flags that were immediately in front of me.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think you have this prize that's kind of up in the sky somewhere, and all you can
like
see,
a wedding, a marriage,
exactly.
and babies.
All you can see is this thing.
Yeah.
You're not really taking stock of the steps and the present that you're living in to get to that destination. So last year, I think I had a very rude awakening. Wait, hold on a second, babe. I know you want this, but actually look at where you are. Mm-hmm. And can you do that with this person? Really and truly, regardless of all the tragedy, regardless of all the many things that were happening. So anyway, at the end of last year, after mental breakdowns and all of the others, and losing myself and who am I, and oh my God, what do I like, who am I, what am I doing, what is my life, what's the purpose of life, all of that jazz, as you do, I thought, no more. I'm kind of known for being the nice girl. I'm known for being the woman who's there for everyone else all the time, and I feel like I've put myself last literally my entire life.
So let's explore this, because I find that it's very interesting as a woman that there are different personality types. So I'm often criticized for being quite ballsy, quite aggressive, quite masculine, and then you are literally the archetype, like sweet girl, and like, you know, you definitely are someone who is a giver and you do things for other people. And sometimes I think that there are the girls who have that personality type, and it can sometimes be a detriment to themselves. But also there is strength in softness as well. Like, it's amazing to be able to be that selfless naturally. Like, I wish I could be as nice. I just don't have as much patience. But did you ever feel, even growing up, that as the soft girl that you were missing out, or also because you were quite quiet and didn't necessarily speak up as much as I don't? So you hate conflict. I love conflict. Did you find that there was ever an issue for yourself?
Okay.
And you've kind of broken out of that, I feel, but without having to become this hard person.
Yeah. I think if I was to look back and potentially speak to my younger self, I would definitely say there is nothing wrong with being nice. There's nothing wrong with being overly nice. That's not a negative thing in itself.
That's amazing.
However, the problem arises where you put yourself last and where you let people dictate the decisions in your life. That's where it's an issue, where you forget who you are and what you want. You don't speak out, and in your niceness, you kind of put yourself at the back of the queue.
Do you think you were naturally nice, or do you feel like your situations meant that you had to maybe say, do you know what, I'm not going to pipe up in this circumstance?
So I'm the youngest in my family. There's 4 of us. Kind of having that younger label, you're almost in people's shadows a little bit. I don't really know how to explain it, but finding your own identity and finding your own voice is a little bit hard. So it's almost like, oh, you're Patricia's younger sister. Like, you're not your own person. And it's quite easy to feel comfortable just being that rather than being your own entity. Do you know what I mean? One of the things that helped me kind of shake out of this was actually my career straight out of university. Actually, I lied, not straight out of, I struggled.
Can we explore this?
Oh,
right.
gosh.
Okay. Sorry. We're going to bounce because this is what we do here. I'm caught off guard by some of the things that you say. And we're going to go into this because after university, and I obviously, because we're sisters, we can talk about this. Sure. So I got a job straight away. I was in the careers instantly. And I'm, far more boisterous in that aspect. I'm in a rush. Whereas Maureen kind of left university and struggled. You didn't have a job for like a year and a half, which is kind of normal. But obviously in comparison to Patricia, who had a job before she had even left university, it almost, I don't know if there's an element of thinking, oh my gosh, having to compare yourself.
Yeah, I mean, there is. I'm not a comparison kind of person.
You're not.
At all. I don't care. You go ahead, girl. What's for you is for you, and what's for me will find me, right?
But there was an element, I feel, of needing to kick yourself up the backside.
Definitely.
So I had this moment where I was quite anxious for you because you're not an anxious person.
No.
So I was like, let's get your
get it
CV.
together.
I got her CV. I forced her to like go out and like
do something different.
Something different, and it worked.
Yeah.
Please explore what you did.
And actually, just talking about this, our relationship is so beautiful because I think we have qualities that the other person doesn't have. So where I was kind of like, I don't really know where to start, how am I going to get on the job ladder, etc., etc., you really gave me like, come on, today, it's not going to find itself. You got to get out there. Out of university, I got a first class. So you're kind of thinking, okay, this is going to be easy. I'm just going to go 1 or 2 interviews, wham, bam. The first struggle was, what the heck am I actually going to do? I was nice. I was academic. I was studious. I was not into boys, none of that stuff. It was going to be Dr. Maureen. That was the thing that was kind of put on my head. So as you do, you study science, but you come out at the end and you're like, hold on, what am I actually doing?
Yeah.
How did I get here? And why am I doing this? So I had that first. Then I eventually thought, I want to still find a way of using the science thing, but in more of a creative way. So there was a lot of research first. What are the options out there? What can I actually do? What can I get into that I might enjoy and still be able to kind of use my skills?
Taking it back a bit though.
Sure.
You did work in a hospital for a year.
I did, yeah.
So you worked in labs. Explain that further.
Okay.
And it was one of those things that made you realize, I don't want to do this.
Yes, exactly. So as part of my degree, I worked in a lab for a year. God, I can't even tell you the kind of
Get
things
into
that
it,
we
get
did.
into it.
Lord, let's just say I was the woman in the white coat who was analysing all of your beautiful samples. Imagine where they come out. Various ends of the body, various things were analysed by myself and my team.
Basically poo samples.
Oh, come on.
Poo and blood.
Must we take it
urine,
here?
sperm.
Do we? Must we? Wow.
All of it.
Yeah. So we did that. It was interesting. I definitely saw the benefit. So when you analyse a sample and you find a result and you see, oh my gosh, you have the potential to help this person and save their life if something is wrong, or vice versa, nothing is wrong. So great, they're absolutely fine. So that was amazing. But it's such an insular experience. You literally wake up, get to work, put on your coat, sit at a microscope, press a screen, and that's it. That's the day gone. And I knew, I did that for a year, but I did know after doing that experience that life or that trajectory was definitely not for me. But I did still love the science thing. Like my heart, my interests, everything was kind of still there. But I needed to find a way to do it, but break free and be a bit more creative. So which is how I kind of stumbled into the world that I got into, which was healthcare and pharmaceutical communications and PR. After the year struggle, knocking on doors, all of that jazz, I ended up doing an internship. So I didn't actually get into a job straight away.
And can we talk about the fact that the internship you did for free? And
Yes.
there's a time where, and I know that not everyone has this privilege, but Maureen was living at home. She didn't have any rent or anything to pay.
Yes.
That sometimes in the market where jobs are really hard to come by, you might have to be like, listen, I'll come for free. Just pay for my travel.
Yeah.
You'll have to make that ham sandwich at home and then just bring it in and struggle for a season.
Yes.
And you did that unpaid for at least 3 or 4 months. And this is one of the advices I provide when people ask me about, how'd you get a job? How'd you get a career in an industry? I want to be in this. I want to be in that. Sometimes you just need to be annoying and be there and then show how hands-on you can be.
There was a real humbling.
Because you were
Broke. First class honors, Dr. Maureen, broke, no job. But had the opportunity to do experience, which I grabbed with both hands. And literally that has helped me to be where I am today. And yeah, taking it back. So being in the world of PR, for anyone who has worked in PR, it's not for the faint-hearted, and it's not the kind of career that you go into and just sit back and shut up. You have to speak out. You have to actively go after opportunities. You have to know how to communicate with brands, with end users, with all these different kinds of stakeholders. So being shy and being coy, this really isn't the place. And I learned very quickly that if I was going to make it and if I was going to go far, that I was going to need to open my mouth. So that confidence thing really, I almost got a kick up the backside. And I had an amazing line manager. She was just, honestly, she was the best. She could see that I was maybe not the most confident naturally, but she really encouraged me at every opportunity to kind of shout about your achievements. It's something that they do in like in the industry,
in the corporate
world. You have to make a lot of noise about the thing that you're doing.
Honestly, I had to learn to become more confident from work. You know, I worked in a male-dominated industry. I was in technology at an investment bank. Then I went into consulting.
Yes.
And in consulting, I could see all these people. I would be doing decks and work. Then they would be presenting my deck and my work like they produced it. And I really realized that you needed to get your shoulders in the door, let them know you have arrived, that I'm part of it. And people would speak in meetings just for the sake of speaking. You know, I have a query about something.
About nothing.
There's a query about nothing. You just wanted to make sure your voice was heard. And I think that in life, you actually just need to have your voice heard. Because they'll remember that person who spoke up versus the person who just sat in the corner.
Said nothing. And you don't need, do you know what you're saying doesn't even need to be rocket science. Just say something.
There's a lot of, well, this is rude, but there's a lot of men who just say, you're just talking because you like the sound of your voice. But it works.
It does.
Get some recognition,
Definitely.
right? Okay, so fast forwarding on, you ended up working for me.
Yes.
Well, leaving your job. And I feel like you picked up some amazing skills. Obviously, you worked in healthcare PR. You got to a very senior position, and the skill sets you learnt there, I think, were valuable for my startup. So how does that look now, or what was that journey like?
I worked in my career for about 4 or 5 years, 4 or 5 promotions later. Patricia was doing incredibly well. No one could have expected you to kind of get to where you got to, and we very quickly kind of saw that there's a real opportunity here. Our mum is like, her journey as well is just incredible, but kind of seeing how she started here and kind of ended there, and I could see the same kind of potential with Patricia. So anyway, there was kind of a meeting of minds, of talents, and
of needs.
Yeah.
I needed help. And I was like, I like to keep things close, and it takes me a while to warm up. But I knew that you'd picked up skilled. I knew that you were talented, and you're my sister, so come on board.
Yeah, kind of no-brainer. But so that was about 5 years ago now.
Were you nervous about leaving a career? Because you were on a nice trajectory. You were at senior account manager or something like that. Were you not afraid to leave your job?
No.
How come?
It's weird. No, the money was nice, the lifestyle was nice, but actually I was super stressed. Super stressed. PR is no joke. Don't let anyone fool you. There was always a part of me that was kind of like, I'm slowly dying inside. It was, I can't explain it. Like, I spent a lot of time with eyes the color of crimson, and
well, you used to have a sty, reoccurring sty.
Yes, I did.
Hives.
Yes,
and I believe it was just stress.
Genuinely,
related.
yeah. The complexity of the role and the stressful situations, it would tell all over my face, all over my body, all the time. So anyway, the opportunity arose, and I was not scared at all. I didn't even think about it from a financial perspective because I had lots and lots of savings at this point in time. Yes, I did.
She's like, I had lots of savings.
I had a lot of coins.
We're going to talk about your wallet, yeah? Because this is the Court of God podcast. So we're going to talk about cash and money.
Okay, that's fine. We can do that.
So career, check.
Yes, sir.
We're going to talk about the man situation shortly. But also you've now just got onto the ladder. And I want to explore that because you said that, you know, you weren't so scared to leave your job because you had cash in your wallet.
Yeah.
How were you doing that as a young person now? And how were you able to save and then work out your mortgage situation, especially because you're kind of quote unquote self-employed? Can you give us a bit more insight into that, what that process has been like for you, from getting a deposit to just approving a mortgage? Because you bought a place in London. So
Okay,
yeah.
cool. So I've always been a saver, not even gonna lie. Like, I'm that girl. I don't buy more than I get in. And also, I'm not really a things person.
Yeah.
Like, I like nice things, let's not get it twisted. But they don't really move me. Especially when you have goals beyond, I really love that Gucci belt. You know that saving is bae. Saving is king. And you ain't gonna get anything unless you got anything. So in terms of kind of purchasing property, I knew I wanted to get on the property ladder. I've been saying it for about 2 years, but saying with no action means nothing. This part of this year, I'm going to change my life whole thing. It was the year that I was going to buy a house.
Yeah.
Fact.
But you had put in the groundwork because you had money in your bank.
Definitely.
Not everyone has money in their bank because maybe they didn't think about it, or even their expenses might be high. So for the girl who's like, I really want to buy a house, but what's the situation? How do I do this?
Priorities. Saying you really want to buy a house is one thing. Are you really living that life to get that house? So I know of women who maybe not be in the same situation as me because I'm living at home, right? So I don't necessarily have rent to pay. And actually, I read a stat the other day that the average person spends £64,000 on rent before they're actually ever able to buy a property in London.
That's stressful.
I can't even fathom how many years worth of renting that might be. So yes, I was definitely in a fortunate, is that the word? Yes,
but
fortunate
you did pay
situation.
a low rent.
Definitely, I was still paying. However, my point is this. Saying you want to get on a property ladder is one thing. What are you doing to actually achieve it? If your only goal is to get on the property ladder, then your expenses are your rent, your feeding, your travel, your phone, and your bills. To work. And that's all you would do.
Yeah.
All the social activities, you would discipline yourself for a specific period of time to make sure you had a nest egg big enough to achieve your ultimate goal, if that is your only goal.
But that could be like 5 years of no fun.
But what's your definition of fun, though?
Ooh.
Fun isn't synonymous with spending. You can look for activities, you can do things that don't require you to spend excessive amount of money. Do you have to go to Ibiza? How about you don't go to Ibiza this
Hot
summer?
girl summer in the garden.
How about that?
Yeah. Barbecue with the friends.
You know what? You
Some
have
Tesco
about
chicken on the grill.
55 bikinis in the suitcase and in the trunk and in the garage. You don't need another one just because neon is the new color of the season. There's ways and means is all I'm saying. And that if you really want something, you will be unrelenting in the pursuit of it. And that's with life. That's not just with houses. So, okay, I'm self-employed. So it's a little bit more tricky, if you will, to get on the ladder. Most lenders will want 3 years worth of accounts. So you prove your income for 3 years in the company, and then your deposit minimum 10%. But actually, if you are going to get on the property ladder, my personal recommendation is that you look to get between kind of 15 and 20% on a deposit, because it reduces your interest rate. You get a better deal if you put more in, basically. Make sure your credit is on lock. I have a 9.999999 credit score.
How and why? Do you know what? Your credit is better than my credit.
Yeah.
Do you know why I have... it's not that my credit is low. I don't have like that ridiculous credit, because I never actually took any credit out. I never had credit cards. I had a student loan. I had an overdraft once when I was 18 and paid that off when I had left university, and just made sure I had nothing. And then I did nothing else. Like, I had no credit whatsoever.
And
so
see,
it was very low. But I had a mortgage. That's the only thing that was in my name. My phone is in my name. Didn't have any bills in my name. I was just not thinking about that. Did you actively build your credit?
Definitely. So,
Right.
good credit is a real thing.
Right.
I think people think about credit as this beast, this ugly thing that you have to kind of stay away from. But actually, if you're trying to get a mortgage, you need to use credit.
I was also late on a few credit card payments as well.
I've
That was in the early days.
I have never in my life missed a payment on anything. When I say I'm disciplined and I'm diligent, I don't play when it comes to money. So my credit has been being built for the past 5 years.
So you've never made a late payment? You've never not been able to pay a phone bill?
Never.
I feel like you're someone you'd rather minimize use than to like be in debt.
Definitely.
Like you'd rather not have a phone for like 2 months.
Oh no, I need a phone. But
okay,
yes,
fine.
I would rather take a £20 SIM only contract with a iPhone 6 Plus than get the iPhone X and be spending £200 a month if I don't have £200 a month to pay that.
Right.
So I've been building my credit, gym memberships, phone bills, taking out credit, everything. I pay it off in full by direct debit every month. So that means I've actively been building up my kind of credit score. So I knew that by the time it came to purchasing, that wasn't going to be an issue for me. In terms of actually stacking for the deposit, like I said, I'm a saver. So the coin has been sat there.
Yeah.
And
it's a process though.
Yeah.
Because, it's not like you, and not sharing how much you paid for a house or whatever, but you're not like buying a £1 million house and then putting 100,000, 200,000 down for a deposit, but you're buying a house within your means.
Yes.
And you've got a deposit that you can afford, right?
Yes. Actually, that is a really good point. And I don't want to trivialize saving and or buying property. It is a big deal. It is a big expense. But I definitely set myself a budget in terms of how much I wanted to spend on a property. I looked at what I'd be able to afford comfortably in terms of repayments. So all of that was a consideration even before I looked. Like, you don't want to fall in love with a property that you will never have the means to pay for. There is just no point. And also I thought very carefully about my current personal circumstances, where I see myself being in, let's say, 3-5 years time, and what I could potentially do with the property that I buy. Where I bought was a flat. I bought a flat rather, and I bought it in an area of London that I know is good for me from a commuter perspective, and it's zone 3.
We bought a property in the same building,
we
just
did.
to say,
Yeah.
like we like to keep it
in the
kind
family,
of, kind of close. She's got the mid-floor
I've got the
flat.
middle floor.
I've
They've
got
got
the
the
upstairs
top floor flat.
We'll talk about that in another day.
We really will, because even the circumstances finding that, it was all kind of
Miraculous, would you say?
Yeah, miraculous. And I know I don't want to be there necessarily for 5 years or for a long time, but it will eventually make a really good investment property, and that was important for me when kind of choosing a place to get.
I also think you've got a bargain.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to be very real, because obviously we're in the same position. Like, for some reason, we hunted down and got a bargain, and Maureen negotiates quite intensely.
Definitely.
And I'm like, oh, wow. Like,
Damn
there's
right.
people who like, you got a property in London for that price, in that location. It is like, you're in a great position, right?
And it's that worst house on the best street kind of vibe, you know?
I always say it.
That is gold. Think about the potential rather than what you can see in front of your eyes when you walk in the door.
Getting a mortgage, was that difficult? What did you need to provide? Can we quickly go through some of those key steps just to guide someone?
Just a very quick
So
one.
you have your deposit.
Yep.
What's the next situation?
So you have your deposit. You need to find the solicitors. The solicitors will also, or they can, find a surveyor. You need to go and get the property basically valued and looked at to make sure what you've offered and what has been accepted is actually a fair market rate. You want to make sure that the building is not going to fall to the ground the second.
But what did you have to do in terms of like your
preparing
numbers?
my stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So it's a bit different because I guess I'm self-employed. So what I needed was my then 2 years worth of accounts. So that was prepared by my accountant, signed, all of that good stuff. You need bank statements. For me, it was going back a whole year, but I guess for the general man, it's about 3 months worth of bank statements.
But because you're self-employed, you had to give a year's worth of bank statements.
So they want to make sure basically that you haven't just fudged your numbers leading up to applying for a mortgage, but actually it's been a consistent...
so not doing some fraud.
No fraud. No fraud. So a year's worth of bank statements, proof of address, all of that good stuff. And then the solicitors and the lenders will go away and make sure that you can afford what you say that you can. So they will look at the profit within your company, how much you personally pay yourself, and how you spend your money. They will go back and forth and potentially ask you to clarify what certain things are. And they might also ask you to confirm what work you have in the pipeline for the next year. So for me, I could say I've got a guaranteed contract of X amount for the next year. So they know that the second that you signed on the dotted line, you're not now going to be in debt. So that was it, really. I also just got a car. So they wanted to see that I'd been paying my lease payments, my car payments on time. And actually, they said that if I hadn't have got the car, they probably would have given me a lot more money.
Really?
Yes. So that's something to consider.
So Maureen got a car on lease, got a new little Mercedes, because hot girl summer and all that jazz.
Yeah.
And but you had a push around Polo that was broke down and
it wasn't
clangy and cold and wet for like the last 5 years.
Yes.
So you felt like it was time for you to have an upgrade, right? But you got that upgrade before you got a house, and it impacted how much you were able to borrow.
Definitely. So
wow.
Like I said, I had goals for the year anyway, so I knew that all of these things I wanted to do and I wanted to achieve, right? So I wasn't
that bothered.
And plus, the house that we got was still a bargain.
Yeah.
But
I think this is very important for people to know that if a house is a priority for you, then
the house first.
Don't get other expenses as well, because it's going to impact your credit, your affordability.
Definitely. Go with the house first.
You got the house, you single. What's the man situation? And I don't want to sound like that really annoying mom or auntie, especially as Africans. Like, it's like, when is the Oz band coming? Like, when's the man? And there's always this pressure, like pressure on your womb and pressure on your marriage statement. Like, they're very worried about if you've got a ring on your finger. It's very annoying. Do you feel that pressure? And what are you doing about it, if you even feel like you need to?
I did definitely feel under pressure in years past. Now, no. I don't feel under pressure. It's definitely something that I want and that I'm actively going after. But I think too many people make mistakes. I think too many people get very caught up in the ideology of being married that they make decisions which they later live to regret. And though I'm 30, forever is a long time. And if I'm going to be with someone for the next 60, 70 years, if I live to see 100, 30 in the grand scheme of things
is nothing.
It's nothing. I've kind of come this far. I've had a lot of weird and wonderful experiences. I've tasted and I've seen. And now I know that I'm not prepared to make a mistake in this area or trivialize it in any way.
So, did you date much when you were younger?
When I was very younger, absolutely not. It was book.
Your boyfriend was book.
It was straight up book. And let's say university, back end of college, university, I lived my life ever so. I dated. I didn't really get into relationships per se. And I think at that stage, I was very much, oh my God, his beard. And oh my God, he's tall. And oh my God, have you seen his car? Like, that was the
I
extent.
hate this.
I know.
So I think that I don't know, maybe I am someone who's a bit weird. Like, I didn't care about any of those things. Like, not that, you know, I want to date an ugly guy or anything like that, but I'm like, what? I was always about content of character.
Right.
Because I was always scared that someone's going to fuck up. Like, I always think that everything's going to go wrong.
Right.
I think maybe I'm like a pessimist. So I always look for personality traits. Well, I do know that girls are like, he looks like this. Oh my God, have you seen his watch and his car? And I'm like, all of this stuff means zero in the scheme of things. And I think from seeing that, even growing up with parents or with our parents, and then also seeing other relationships, that people can have all the things that shine, but they don't love their husband.
Definitely.
Or their husband doesn't love them. And I think for me, I always wanted love first and foremost. And that's why I secured someone quite early. But I'm presuming you were enthralled by a shiny beard.
Yes, a shiny beard and some good banter. Wow.
Yeah, banter is
wow. that
banter will give you the flutters.
Definitely. And also with me kind of being the shy girl back then, I didn't really know how to interact with guys. Ooh. It was weird. So people who showed interest, or, oh my God, you're so beautiful. That was it. Finished. Scattered. Done.
Oh, really? Yeah. They just had to say a nice word to you and you're like, it's over.
Oh, really? Me? Oh my God.
No skepticism.
No, I definitely took people at face value and I didn't really delve deeper into the content of their character. I didn't really delve deeper into their intention for whatever it is that we were doing. And I very much lived in the moment back then.
So now you use some of the apps. How have you found app dating? Because we only just got into you app dating after your breakup. We were like, no, we got to do something about this.
Yeah.
And have you got a favourite app and why?
Oh, God. Wow.
Because you were very against it. There's a lot of guys who are like, I don't use apps. Listen.
I don't know. I felt like online dating, what do we call it? App dating. It was for the girl over there. What? I don't need to. Me use an app. Me? Me?
You got humbled real quick.
I got humbled very much so. I think after a lot of heartbreak and making some real stupido decisions, I really considered where I was going to meet the kind of guy, the caliber of man that I actually saw myself being with long term. Now, in my career and the kind of things that I do, I don't get the opportunity to meet single men who I think could actually be potential. So me kind of going to work, coming back, not really having very much free time. The only way really that I'm going to be able to meet new people is online.
Or an introduction.
Yeah. And
but your last introduction.
I've been there, I've done that also. And that's not to say that I would never do it again. Because please, if you have some good people, I'm open. But it kind of seemed like the most natural next step to explore. Do I have a favorite one? Yes, I do. Bumble. I would say
why?
Because I find that the caliber of man on there is more aligned to my vision for the Oz band with an O. They seem to be slightly more genuine. They seem to be more into the things that I am. And actually just the way that it works, like functionally speaking, it's a lot more intuitive. Some of the other ones, in my opinion, what, you have to like this and do that and have to wait for my turn. It's just, it's a lot. I can't.
So what is the best way to get over someone? And do you believe in the delete and block? Or getting under someone else to help out?
Wow. I didn't used to believe in the delete and block. I was the kind of person who hung on. I could be in a relationship with someone and we eventually call it time, but I couldn't let go. I couldn't completely remove them from my existence.
To me, it's so like
it's the weirdest
energy.
thing.
Don't you find that like relationship, even friendships,
yeah,
it's energy.
Yes.
So when you're still in contact with someone who you're not going to have a future with, there's all this energy that you might be given to them, and I feel like it depletes yourself.
It does, but it was
you're a nice girl.
Yeah,
I think it's
it was the nice girl thing. It comes back to the nice girl thing, and I physically couldn't let go. I'm like, I know we're not together anymore, or I know that we're not going to be that anymore, but I don't want you to completely be removed from my
I'm
life.
like, bye.
And I struggled with that. But now, I'll see ya.
See you, bye.
Bye.
Deuces.
Bye. But again, that comes back to the whole like mental transformation and understanding what it is that I need to bring into my life or remove from my life at any one given point if it doesn't align with what I'm trying to achieve right now. How do I get over a heartbreak?
Yeah.
Time, prayer, loving oneself, really reevaluating who you are. Sometimes when you're in a relationship with someone, your lives intertwine in a way that you forget yourself. After my last breakup, I was like, hold on a second. Who are my friends? Where did I used to go? What do I like? Like, I really had to sit back, peel back the layers and work out who the hell I was, because our lives were so entangled. I'd spend all my time with him and his friends, and I didn't know what my life looked like anymore.
But
after
you
he
found
disappeared.
yourself
But I
by
found
this point in
myself.
time.
So it was definitely time. It was definitely making a conscious and very purposeful intention to fall back in love with myself and go after the things that I wanted.
Okay, so we have this quick fire section on this podcast, and this is drop and give me 20. I'm going to ask you some caught off guard questions, and I just want you to give me the first thing that comes into your head, okay?
Okay.
Biggest turn off?
Bad breath.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
An activity that instantly calms you when you're stressed?
Singing out loud.
Sex or checks?
Checks.
First thing you do when you wake up?
Scroll.
Cooking or ordering in?
Oh, cooking.
Staying in or going out?
Going out.
You're such a going out girl. During sex, the lights are on or off?
Off.
In a guy, do you like ambition or kindness?
Kindness.
Planning or spontaneity?
Planning.
Something no one knows about you?
I don't know. I love soca.
Something that you do that no one knows?
I don't know.
Pick your nose.
Everyone picks then.
Biggest regret in a relationship?
Not leaving sooner.
How do you stay positive when everything is going wrong?
I'm always positive.
Texting or talking?
Texting. Don't call me ever.
The thing you're most afraid of is?
Not having my own identity or leaving a mark in this world.
All right.
Is that it?
Yeah, that was kind of emotive. Like, wow. Right, so I want to explore what's in your wallet. I have a few questions here. There is this thing on YouTube, which is the what's in my bag. It's kind of rude, you know, to go into someone's bag.
Damn
I
right.
think it's even ruder to go into someone's wallet. But I love talking about money. So I want to delve further into your wallet. What is the most you have spent on a boyfriend?
I took one of my ex-partners away for his birthday.
Was he appreciative of that?
We broke up a week later. So you're going to have to ask him about that.
Ooh.
But no, not because of the holiday. Just going to throw that out there. No shade.
Do you think the pain of the investment made it worse afterwards?
Oh, yeah, it burned. It burned. But to be fair, you shouldn't give to receive. You should definitely give out of a place of love. It's not really a tit for tat type thing.
When you're in a relationship, do you think it ever makes sense to share your money?
In a relationship, no, we ain't married.
Would you date someone who earns less money than you?
Yes, and I have. However, in my humble opinion, I do think it can cause issues down the line. But that's more so from a leadership from a leadership perspective. And I also think more so for the man than for the woman.
Should we be focused on securing the bag or securing the ring?
The bag.
Oh, yeah. I'm not
The
even sure if I like
bag.
that. Like, securing the ring, if it happens, it happens. The bag, first and foremost.
Definitely.
What's the biggest amount of money you've wasted? Or what do you think you've wasted money on?
I don't count, for example, holidays as wasted. They're experiences.
No, yeah.
Never. But buying it things or things of the moment, in hindsight, some of them can be a waste of money.
Who should pay on the first date?
Oh, a man.
Really?
1,000%.
Is that a modern
I don't give a
thinking?
damn if it's a modern anything. It's my thinking.
So if a guy didn't pay on the first date, would
It's
you?
a massive turn off.
What?
Huge turn off.
The girls in the room are nodding. They're
I
like,
don't care
yes.
if anyone wants to come for me on that one, but
But
yeah.
in a big 2019, you're still expecting that in this economy?
I don't really know what it being 2019 has got to do with anything, but a man should pay on the first date.
So you still want that chivalry?
I do. And 9 times out of 10, a man has asked a woman out. I know it's modern day, so actually I could have put the feelers out, but at the end of the day, you are trying to find me. You're trying to secure me. We're not splitting anything. I'm not paying for anything. If I pay, know that this is your last date. That is all.
Okay, well, there's so many nods in the room. I feel like, like the odd one out. But
you married.
well, yeah, it's true. It's like everything's shared at this point in time. So maybe it's easy for me to say like, oh, let's just split
Okay,
the
to
bill.
be honest, that was a bit of a harsh statement.
Yeah.
It might not be your last date, but I'm raising half an eyebrow.
Would you pay on a date, right?
Of course I would.
Right.
Absolutely. And this is the thing. I don't want people to get it twisted. I'm not saying that you will forever pay. You're going to hold me down. That's it. I'll put my feet up. Now it's the land of milk and honey. No. But on a first date,
Yeah.
it's definitely, it sets the tone.
Yeah.
It lets me know that you will take care of me. And I can do the same, and I will do the same. There will be dates where I will pay for everything, and I'd expect you not to even bring out your wallet. That's fine. But as a first date and a gesture of intention moving forward, the man should pay.
Okay. Well, it'll probably be Nando's then.
Well, that's not the man for me.
What advice do you have for people wanting to become better at managing their money?
Set your goals first. If you have something that you're working towards, then you'll be more conscious about how you use your money. Never spend more than you have coming in. If you need to set limits or caps or put money aside, do that. Understand what kind of person you are when it comes to money. If you're a big spender, as the money comes in on payday, put 50% of it aside in a place where you can't get to.
Right. So I really want to find out more about your mindset, what you think. And I'm calling this like the takeaway section. Is there anything that you feel most people would disagree with that you believe to be true based on your own experiences? A truth that you found for yourself?
You can make a decision to change your life literally one day, and everything can turn around for you in a short space of time. Back end of last year, I cut all my hair off. I know it's such a cliche thing.
Oh yeah, you did. You did do the hair cut off.
And that was it was so representative of where I was at in my life. It's so cliche. Post breakup, shave your hair, all of that jazz. But I had such an attachment to my hair.
You did.
And doing that was like an act of, I'm breaking free. And actually, everything as I know it is about to change. And literally, from the beginning of this year, you have to do something differently to get a different result. And I've applied that mantra to basically everything. And my whole life has changed.
Thank you so much, Maureen, for coming on the podcast today and for us to be able to delve a little bit more. And I feel like you're an example of like a quote unquote everyday girl who's still making moves. And I think you're not a big social media person or anything like that, but you are doing some great and amazing things. And I think that we can all see ourselves in someone like yourself. And I think it's important to have really great examples and role models in the everyday. So I really appreciate you coming onto the podcast. You go get a man. But you're very happy as you are.
And that is not the definition of someone making it by getting a man.
Agree.
So, yeah.
100% agree. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's been wicked.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. This is our kind of first try into this. So you can catch us on social media with the hashtag Caught Off Guard Pod. We have lots more information and links. I don't even know, I was going to say links down below, but this is on audio. So use the hashtag to find us. You can also follow me on Instagram at the Patricia Bright and on Twitter at Patty O Loves You. If you like what you have heard, please don't forget to subscribe for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also rate and review. This is really valuable for us. So I read the comments and so does my podcast team, and we cannot wait to get in your feedback and questions and dilemmas. Thank you for the support. Until next time.